Our next comedian is, I think, the only one of us Bellingham comedians in town who actually makes YouTube videos, and they're quite good because she has ambition, and we're all just waiting to die. Ladies and gentlemen, Melly Cazell!
Oh, hello, Station 49. I'm very excited to be here. I took Birch Bay Linden Road Blaine to get here. Does anybody know where we are? Can you tell me? Yeah, this guy knows where we are? Thank you. Out here, do you guys still have the safety glass at the grocery stores? Yes. Yeah? This might be an unpopular opinion, but I really like the safety glass they've installed at the grocery stores, and it's because my family has this condition. There's nothing we can do about it. We all have it. It's a very serious, uncontrollable medical condition. And what happens is when someone talks to us in an accent that's different from ours, we have to, because of our condition, speak in their voice back to them. And there's a woman at my local grocery store with a beautiful southern drawl. And she's always so nice when I come in and she says, "Well, hi, darling, how are you?" And I find myself saying back, because of my condition, "Well, I'm doing great. How are you, peaches and cream?" And she laughs. And she says, "Are you making fun of me?" And I say, "No, ma'am, but I also cannot stop because of my condition." And she's always very nice, but I can tell she's behind that counter really thinking, if this glass wasn't here, I would reach around and show that girl peaches and cream. Now, when they remove the glass, I am going to have to find a new grocery store. But until then, I'm safe. But because of this very serious medical condition, I've learned a lot about accents from all across the United States. And one of the first things I noticed is that the Minnesota-Wisconsin accents perfectly represent my relationship with my sister. Because the Wisconsin accent kind of sounds like Minnesota's little sister with a lisp. And when the United States first started, Minnesota made a lot of great cheese. They made so much great cheese, it was delicious and everybody loved it. And then Wisconsin said, "Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna supply the most cheese in the entire United States just to show you up." And Minnesota kept her cool. And she said, "You know what, little sis? I'm just glad you're following your bliss." And then Minnesota decided to branch out. She decided to start her own football team. And they would be the Minnesota Vikings for a tough and powerful football team. And then Wisconsin said, "Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna start my own football team too. And our mascot is gonna be cheese. And we're gonna win way more games than your football team." And at this point, Minnesota lost it. And she said, "Oh my God. Why do you have to copy everything I do? I just want to do my own thing." And Wisconsin said, "Oh yeah? Well, I don't copy everything you do. At least my state doesn't smell like a giant cow fart." And they kept arguing about whose team was better. But what neither one of them realized is that by constantly being in competition, they've always been pushing each other to be better. And both of their states smell like a giant cow fart. And their football teams suck. Did you say Seahawks? I thought we were at Station 49ers, though. Ooh, I know. How to lose a whole Washington audience, just Niners. But I will admit I've had some trouble in the past doing bits with accents, because I think people think I'm coming into it with this idea that I don't have an accent, like my voice is normal. I know I have an accent. It's just the worst one. We all talk like this. It's that Washington, Oregon, California accent. Right? And here's how I know it's the worst. I can guarantee for anyone from here who talks like this is a universal experience. Have you ever had that moment where your friend recorded something you said and then played it back to you and you thought, "Is that what I sound like? No, that's not me, because that would be annoying." And I've also noticed that the Southern accent is made fun of similarly to ours because it sounds like ours, but if we were also drunk. Right, because after the Civil War, they just got smashed. And they said, "You know what, things did not go as we planned, so we're just going to give up on talking to people." Because I don't have the energy to say things like, "How do you do?" So I'm just gonna say howdy. And I don't have the time to say things like you all. So I'm just gonna say y'all. I love that y'all is the one thing the South got right. Because there are a lot of things nowadays, if you walk into a room with people and you say, they get very upset. You can't walk in and say, hey, you guys, because of the patriarchy. You can't walk in and say, hey, you gals, because someone might identify as a shoe. So now we got a bunch of liberal college students walking around saying, y'all. And the South caught wind of this, and they're having a meeting. And Texas is in charge. And the Texas accent sounds a lot like you're swallowing a bowl full of molasses. And Texas says, what are we gonna do about these liberal college students saying y'all? And then Florida cuts in and she sounds like your aunt who is already drunk and ready to cause a problem. And she says, I got it. We will go to that Pacific Northwest and release the gators. And Texas says, you have got to stop suggesting that at meetings. That joke is based on a true story. A woman in Florida was pulled over for a broken taillight. As the police approached her car, she said, you're not taking my gators, and proceeded to pull 4 baby alligators out of her leggings. And people wonder why Florida wasn't scared of the coronavirus. But back to the meeting. Texas says, what are we gonna do? And then Louisiana, New Orleans cuts in and they say, how about instead of being mad at each other, we just gave away some beads and we flashed some boobies and we all had sex with each other. And Texas says, we have got to stop inviting Florida and Louisiana to these meetings. And then the states that were in the Civil War try to chime in, and Texas says, you had your chance. And Texas looks around the room and says, all right, I've made an executive decision. I know none of us want to go to that Pacific Northwest because of them murder hornets. Not because we're scared of them, but because if those people can't handle a slightly bigger bee, they definitely can't handle us. So I've decided, y'all, damn it, we've got to stop saying y'all. Thank you, Station 49.
The bad man has returned. Ladies and gentlemen, Melly Gazelle! And her very, very offensive Wisconsin accent. I'm from Wisconsin. That's not accurate at all. At no point during that accent did she shotgun a beer, vomit, and then shotgun another beer. Just completely inaccurate. I'm just gonna go into my quiet place right now, which is the outhouse.